If you clicked on this video, you probably suffer from the most silent addiction of the modern age. An addiction that steals your energy, fragments your focus, and prevents you from achieving what you truly desire in life. An addiction that, no matter how hard you try to quit, you can't. It feels like this addiction is stealing your soul. Do you know any young person who feels like they're living on autopilot? Who has dreams, goals, wants to achieve things in life, but simply doesn't have the energy to go after them? Someone who wants to study and grow in life, get into a good university, maybe start their own business. Someone who dreams of having a real relationship, building something real, dreams of having a healthy body, feeling confident. But at the end of the day, after school or work, this person is exhausted. Not just physically, but mentally. This person's brain is so fragmented, so accustomed to intense and instantaneous stimuli, that they can't concentrate on reading a book for 10 minutes. You can't have a deep conversation with anyone. You can't even look a girl in the eye without feeling ashamed or insecure. And you know the worst part? Many of these men and women who suffer from these symptoms know exactly why they're going through it, but they don't talk about it with anyone, because it's the most shameful, most silent addiction of our time: pornography. Maybe you're watching this video right now and thinking, this isn't happening to me, I'm not addicted, I only do this occasionally. Everyone does it, it's normal. So I ask you, when was the last time you went a week without pornography? 2 weeks, a month? If you can't answer that question confidently, or if the idea of going a month without it makes you anxious, then yes, my friend, we're talking about you. But I have good news. There is a system that combines some Japanese concepts that can help you overcome this addiction. And this system works because it wasn't created by motivational coaches or internet gurus. It was forged in centuries of real discipline by men who literally had to control their impulses or die in battle. This system has 5 different pillars. The first pillar is Ikigai, finding your why. The second pillar is Kaizen, 1% improvement each day. The third pillar is Misogi, purification through discomfort. The fourth pillar is Shugyo, austere training, physical and mental training to redirect your energy. And the fifth pillar is Nanakarobi Yauki, fall 7 times, get up 8. In this video, I will explain how these pillars interact with each other, and how you can combine these pillars with the right knowledge from neuroscience to overcome any addiction. I'll also tell you the story of a young man named Jaden, and how he discovered this system through a 79-year-old man who completely changed the course of his life. Before I tell you Jaden's full story, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment. What is the main goal you want to achieve, but feel pornography is preventing you from doing? It could be getting into university. It could be getting a better job. It could be having the courage to talk to that person. It could simply be having energy and focus back in your life. This video came about as a result of a subscriber's comment asking for help with this specific topic. So let's get straight to the point, without judgment, without moralizing. Just science, philosophy, and real strategy. Let's move on to Jaden's story. Chapter 1. Life is not on autopilot. Jaden is 18 years old. He's in his senior year of high school. He works part-time at an electronics store, and he's completely lost. He's not a bad guy. He's not lazy. When he was younger, he got good grades without much effort. He was curious, he read about technology, he wanted to program, to create things. But now he's just dragging himself through life. Waking up is torture. Going to school is automatic. At work, he does the bare minimum. When he gets home, it's already 6 p.m. He looks at the programming books on the table. Today I'm going to study, he thinks. But then he picks up his cell phone. I'm just going to take a quick look at YouTube. 2 hours later, he's in the bathroom, and you know what happened. When he finishes, that horrible feeling hits him. The shame, the guilt, the self-hatred. Why did I do this again? I was going to study. I promised I would stop. But it's more than that. It's not just the guilt, it's the lack of energy that comes afterward. Jaden feels that deep lethargy, that emptiness. He doesn't want to study anymore. He doesn't want to do anything anymore. He just wants to lie in bed, scroll through his phone feed until he falls asleep. And the next day, same thing. And the next. And the next. His life has become a vicious cycle that he can't break. At school, he sees the girls talking, laughing. He wishes he had the courage to talk to one of them, but he doesn't. Because deep down, he feels guilty, dirty, unworthy. How can he look a real girl in the eye when just a few hours ago, he was locked in a bathroom watching that kind of content? He tries to convince himself, but everyone does it, it's normal, there's nothing wrong with it. But if it were normal, why does he feel so empty? Why can't he concentrate? Why does he have no energy for anything? The teachers start asking, "Jaden, weren't you going to take the college entrance exam? Registration is open." He replies, "Yes, I'll think about it." But he doesn't think about it, because deep down he knows he won't pass, because he can't study, because his brain doesn't work normally anymore. The manager of the store where he works offers him an opportunity. "Jaden, we have a technician position available. It pays better, but you need to study for certification. Are you interested?" I am going to think. But he doesn't think. Because thinking requires mental energy, and he doesn't have that energy. Because all his energy is being drained. Drained by an addiction he barely recognizes as an addiction. Chapter 2. Reality knocks on the door. 3 months before the entrance exams, Jaden receives his high school grades: math, F, Portuguese, C. How would he get into a good college with those grades? He looks at the paper and feels something break inside him. It wasn't anger, it was resignation. The feeling of, I knew it, I knew I wouldn't make it. That night, he's lying in bed staring at the ceiling, and he really stops and thinks about the future, or rather, about the lack of a future. He'll finish high school. He'll continue working at the electronics store earning a low salary. He'll live with his parents until he's 30. He'll watch his friends go to university, get good jobs, start dating, build lives. And him? He'll be in the same place, working a dead-end job, alone, without energy, without purpose. Because he wasted everything. He wasted his energy, his time, his potential, on pixels on a screen. The next day he decides, that's it. I'm going to change for real this time. He searches on Google. How to stop watching pornography. The results are a mix of religious articles talking about sin and willpower, nofap forums with people counting the days without relapse, coaches selling courses promising total freedom in 21 days, and bizarre techniques like, whenever you feel the urge, say a mantra. Jaden tries everything. It installs blockers on cell phones and computers. It works for 2 days. On the 3rd day, it deactivates. He tries the brute willpower method. I'm simply not going to do it, never again. It lasts 4 days. On the 5th, after a stressful day at school or work, he relapses. And he relapses hard. He buys an online course from a guru who promises the ultimate method to overcome any addiction in 30 days. It consists of generic motivational videos, guided meditations, and a spreadsheet to track your progress. Jaden follows everything religiously for 2 weeks. It even works. Until the day he has a fight with his father, becomes emotionally shaken, and relapses again. Every time he relapses, the voice in his head gets louder. You're weak. You have no discipline. You'll never make it. You're pathetic. 2 months pass like this. Trying, failing, hating each other, trying again. Then one Saturday afternoon, he's randomly scrolling through YouTube and comes across a video. The Principles of Karate by Sensei Machida. The thumbnail shows a Japanese gentleman in his early 70s with a calm face and deep eyes that exude wisdom. Something about that face makes Jaden click. Chapter 3. The Sensei. In the video, the man speaks in a calm, measured voice about how karate is not just a martial art of combat, but a system of self-discipline. He talks about Bushido, about inner control, about conquering the enemy within yourself before conquering any external enemy. Jaden watches the entire video. Then he watches another, and another. In the comments, someone asks, Sensei Machida, do you still teach? Where is your dojo located? The answer is clear. Yes, Ryu Dojo. Everyone is welcome. Jaden looks at the address. It's in his city, a 20-minute bus ride away. Something inside him says, go ahead, just you wait and see. On Monday after school, he goes to the dojo. It's a simple building, almost hidden among shops. But when he enters, he feels something different. Silence, peace, respect. Sensei Machida is there, teaching a class. Jaden stands at the door watching. The movements are precise, controlled. There is no rush, no wasted energy. When class ends, the sensei comes to him. "Can I help you?" I watched your videos. I wanted to learn." Machida observes Jaden for a few seconds, intensely, as if he were reading something Jaden couldn't see. "Why do you want to learn karate?" Jaden wasn't expecting that question. "I want to be more disciplined." "Discipline for what?" Jaden hesitates. To improve my life. I'm lost. I can't focus. I can't do what I need to do." Machida nods slowly. "I understand. I'll make you an offer. Come train here for a month. If after that month you still want to continue, we can talk." "How much does it cost?" "For you, nothing for the first 30 days. After that, if you decide to stay, we can talk about value. But first you need to prove to yourself that you can show up 3 times a week for a month." Jaden feels something strange. Gratitude, hope. "I'll make it, I promise." Promises are easy to make. Keeping them is hard. See you Wednesday at 6 p.m. Chapter 4. The First Week and the First Failure. Jaden goes to the first 2 classes of the week, Wednesday and Friday. His body aches in ways he didn't even know existed, but he likes it. He likes the pain, the real physical exhaustion, because at least it's pain that makes sense. But on Sunday, Jaden has another relapse. He receives a message from a friend who has been accepted into a good university. Jaden feels that pang of envy, of inadequacy. That night, alone in his room, the trigger is pulled. He tries to resist. "No, I'm not going to do it. I promised I would change." But the pressure mounts. The boredom, the anxiety, that mental itch he knows so well. He gives in. And after it's over, that familiar feeling hits. The emptiness, the shame. Jaden won't be going to class on Monday. "I'll be back on Wednesday. I need some time off." He won't go on Wednesday either, because right now he's so ashamed that he can't face the sensei. On Friday, your phone rings. Unknown number. "Hello? Jaden, it's Sensei Machida. Are you all right? I haven't seen you this week." Jaden freezes. I had some commitments. Sorry." "I understand. Can you come today?" I don't know if I can." "Just come, no need to train. Just come have tea with me after class. We can chat." Jaden wants to refuse, but he decides to accept. "Okay, I'll go." Chapter 5. The Conversation That Changes Everything. After class, Sensei Machida takes Jaden to a small room at the back of the dojo. It has a low table, cushions on the floor, a pot of hot tea. They sit in silence for a few seconds. The sensei serves the tea slowly with deliberate movements. "Why didn't you come this week?" he finally asks. Jaden looks at the tea. "I had some problems." "What kind of problems?" Jaden doesn't want to talk, but something about the sensei's presence makes the words start to come out. I failed. Again. At something I swore I'd stop. And then I felt so ashamed to come here, because you're trying to teach me discipline, and I can't even control myself. Machida takes a sip of tea. "What is this thing you're trying to stop?" Jaden hesitates. How can he talk about pornography with a 79-year-old man? He'll be judged. He'll be expelled from the dojo. But the voice comes out. "Pornography. I'm addicted. And I've tried to stop so many times, but I always relapse. And it's destroying my life. I can't study. I can't work properly. I can't look at any girl without feeling ashamed. I have no energy for anything. And I know it's because of this, but I can't stop." He awaits judgment. The sermon, the disappointment, but Sensei Machida simply nods. "I understand." Silence. "Just that?" Jaden asks. "Do you think you're the first person to come here with this problem? Do you think you're the first young person I know who is struggling with addiction?" "But, Jaden, I'm going to tell you something. I've never told anyone in the dojo. I'm going to tell you because I see in you the same thing I saw in myself many years ago. The sensei places the cup on the table and leans forward. When I was your age, I wasn't the person you see today. I was weak, undisciplined, purposeless. I lived in the Ryukyu Islands, in southern Japan with my parents. My father was a respected karateka, a man of honor. And me, I was his shame. Jaden listens in complete silence. I was addicted to gambling, pachinko, betting, anything. I'd take money from my parents to gamble, I'd lie, I'd steal, I'd lose everything, and I'd go back to gambling some more. I thought I could stop any time, but I couldn't. One day I lost a lot of money. A lot. Money I didn't have. Debt to dangerous people. The debt collectors came to my house. They were violent, Jaden. They wanted to beat me up, break me. The sensei's voice grows lower, heavier. My father intervened. A 60-year-old man, a karateka, yes, but against 5 young men. He fought. He tried to protect me. And they beat him. They beat him in front of my mother, in front of me, because of my choices. Jaden feels a lump in his throat. My father survived, but something died that day, not in him, in me. The boy who thought addictions had no consequences. That boy died. And in his place, someone was born who understood. Either I change or I destroy everyone I love. That's when I started training for real. Not just the karate techniques, but the philosophies, the principles. I learned that ancient samurai dealt with impulses, vices, and weaknesses, not with willpower, but with systems, with wisdom, with strategy. Machida looks into Jaden's eyes. So yes, Jaden, I understand. I understand much more than you realize, and I'm telling you, you can win this, but not the way you're trying. You're fighting yourself with the wrong weapons. Chapter 6. The Warrior System. Jaden wipes away tears he hadn't even realized were falling. So how? How do I do it? First, you need to understand one thing about neuroscience, about how addictions work in the brain. The sensei takes a piece of paper and draws simple circles. Your brain has a reward system. Every time you feel pleasure, whether it's food, watching a video, or achieving a goal, your brain releases dopamine. It's chemical. It's like fuel. The problem is that adult videos release dopamine at artificial levels, much more than any natural experience, so your brain adapts. Your brain needs increasingly intense stimulation to feel pleasure. That's why you can no longer read a book, or study, or have a normal conversation. Your brain is dysregulated. Jaden nods. He'd never heard it explained like that, but it makes perfect sense. But there's a catch. The same areas of the brain that solidify bad habits are the same ones that solidify good habits. The system is the same, Jaden. You can reprogram it. But there's a rule. You can't simply take away the addiction. If you leave a void, your brain will desperately try to fill it with anything. That's why people who quit smoking overeat. People who stop drinking start gambling compulsively. So what is the solution? You don't remove pornography. You replace it with habits that activate the same neural circuits, but build your life instead of destroying it. Jaden leans forward. This is unlike anything he's ever heard before. But before I teach you about replacement, you need to answer one question, and be brutally honest. Why do you want to stop? Why is it wrong? No, forget morality, forget right and wrong. Why do you want to stop? What is your purpose? Jaden thinks. He really thinks. I want to go to university, study programming, work on something I love. I want a real girlfriend, not pixelated fantasies. I want to have energy, to have focus, to feel worthy of myself. I want to stop hating myself every time I look in the mirror. Machida smiles. That's your ikigai, your reason for living. Samurai always knew why they fought before entering battle. Without a clear purpose, you're fighting in a void. He writes on the paper, Ikigai, why do you fight? Now I'm going to teach you the complete system. It has 5 pillars, and you're going to apply them all but one at a time, because real change is a process of building. Chapter 7. The 5 Pillars of the Samurai Way. Machida draws 5 connected circles. First pillar, Kaizen. Continuous improvement. You're not going to try to stop pornography overnight. You're going to improve 1% per day. Microscopic changes that your brain can't resist. I'm going to give you a task today, just one, and it sounds ridiculous, but you're going to do it. Which? Every day when you wake up, before you grab your phone, you're going to get out of bed and do 10 push-ups. Or if you can't, 10 push-ups on your knees. It doesn't matter, just 10. After that you can do whatever you want. But first, 10 push-ups. Jaden is confused. This has nothing to do with my addiction. So it all makes sense, because first you need to prove to yourself that you can keep a promise you made to yourself. And keeping that small promise every day for 2 weeks will reprogram your identity. You'll stop being the guy who always fails and become the guy who keeps promises. Second pillar, misogi, purification through discomfort. Samurai bathed in icy waterfalls to purify their bodies and minds of impulses. You will do the modern version. When you feel the urge for pornography, you will not fight the urge. You will do one thing, a 3-minute cold shower, or do push-ups to failure, or do the abdominal plank for 2 minutes. Immediate physical discomfort replaces the mental itch. Your brain can't focus on sexual pleasure and physical pain at the same time. And more importantly, every time you choose physical discomfort over artificial pleasure, you are training your willpower. Jaden is starting to understand. Third pillar, shugyo, austere training. You will train Jaden, not just karate, body and mind, because sexual energy is the most powerful energy that exists, and you are wasting it. When you conserve that energy, it transforms into focus, ambition, courage. You'll train here at the dojo 3 times a week, and on the other days you'll do something. Study programming for 25 minutes, or read 5 pages of a book, or walk for 20 minutes. Small actions that redirect the energy that was going towards your addiction. But can I do other things that I enjoy? Though of course, you're not turning into a monk. You can play video games, hang out with friends, eat what you like, but in moderation. The point is to ADD constructive actions, not create more deprivation. Fourth pillar, nanakorobi yaoki. Fall 7 times, get up 8. Understand that you will fail, Jaden. You will relapse. And when that happens, you will not give up. You will do 3 things immediately. First, take a cold shower, as if washing away the defeat. Second, write down what happened. What was the trigger? Were you sad, bored, stressed? What time was it? What were you doing before? This is combat data. Third, start over immediately. Not Monday, not next month, now. And the 5th pillar, ikigai, which you have already defined. Every time you feel the urge to relapse, you won't think, I can't do this. You'll think, I am someone who is building a worthy life. I am someone who will go to university. I am someone who deserves a real partner. Identity, not willpower. Chapter 8. The journey begins. For the first 14 days, Jaden does 10 push-ups every morning. He hates it. His body aches. He just wants to grab his phone and scroll through his feed. But he does it. On the 10th, he wakes up, and the first thing he thinks is, where are my push-ups? His brain started expecting them. On the 14th, he returns to the dojo. Machida asks, did you do push-ups every day? I did. How do you feel? Honestly, a bit silly. My addiction hasn't gone away yet, but I accomplished something for 2 weeks. That's great for me. Machida smiles. Good. Now second phase, continue the push-ups. But add this. When you feel the urge to crave pornography, take a 3-minute cold shower. Don't try to resist with willpower alone. Use physical discomfort. Over the next few days, Jaden tests it. The urge hits hard one night. That anxiety, that boredom, that mental itch. He remembers his sensei. He goes to the bathroom, he turns on the cold shower and gets in the shower. The first 30 seconds are torture. He wants to get out, but he holds on. 3 full minutes. When he got out of the shower, the urge hadn't completely disappeared, but it had lost its intensity. He goes back to his room, picks up his programming book and studies for 25 minutes. That night, for the first time in months, he slept without relapsing. And more importantly, he slept knowing that he chose not to relapse. Not because he resisted with willpower, because he used strategy. Chapter 9. The First Major Relapse. Week 5. Jaden is doing well. 12 days without relapses. He's studying more, training at the dojo, feeling his energy returning. But then comes a difficult Saturday. Argument with his father, stressful work, alone at night, emotionally exhausted. The trigger is pulled, and this time it's too strong. He tries a cold shower, but the emotional anxiety is greater than the physical discomfort. He relapses. And it's not a minor relapse. It's 3 hours of binge drinking in a compulsive spiral. When it's over, he's devastated, not just by the guilt, by the feeling that he's lost everything. I was doing so well, 12 days, and I threw it all away. On Sunday morning, he doesn't want to do push-ups. He doesn't want to go to the dojo. He wants to give up on everything. But he remembers Machida's voice. When you fail, come back immediately. With effort, he takes a cold shower. He picks up a notebook and writes. Trigger. Argument with father plus stress plus alone at night plus emotionally vulnerable. Context. I didn't eat well all day. I didn't work out. I spent a lot of time alone in my room. I learned I need to avoid being alone in my room at night when I'm emotionally upset. I need to leave the house or call a friend. He does the 10 push-ups and decides to go to the dojo anyway. When she arrives, Machida sees his face and knows. Do you want to talk? I failed. Again. You stumbled. You didn't fail. What's the difference? When you fail, you stop. When you stumble, you keep walking. Did you do your push-ups today? I did. Did you take a cold shower? I took it. Did you come to the dojo? Because. So you didn't fail. You stumbled and got back up. That's Nanakorobi Yauki, and that's what separates those who give up from those who transform. Jaden feels something break inside him, the expectation of perfection. Chapter 10. Redirecting Energy. Months go by. Jaden falls a few times, but less and less each time, and each time he gets up faster. And something even more important, he begins to feel the difference in energy. On the weeks he doesn't relapse, he studies programming with laser focus. He solves problems that previously seemed impossible. At the dojo, he learns techniques faster. At work, he gets promoted to technician because he's more present, more focused. And the girls? He's starting to be able to look them in the eye, to start conversations, without that paralyzing shyness. A girl from school named Emma starts talking to him. She also likes technology. They talk about programming, about dreams, about university. Jaden realizes something. He's having a real conversation with her. No fantasies, no objectification. Just a conversation with a real human being. And it's infinitely better than any screen. One day, Emma asks for help with a code. They study together in the library, and Jaden realizes he has the energy for this, mental, emotional energy, because he's not wasting it on pixels. Sensei Machida explains in a class, sexual energy is the most powerful force. When you waste it, you lose the drive to conquer, to work, to seek a real partner. Your brain becomes artificially satisfied. When you conserve this energy, it transmutes. It becomes ambition, focus, courage. Jaden is living that truth now. Chapter 11. The Real Test. The time for the entrance exam arrives. Jaden studies differently now. Not 8 hours a day, but 1 hour with real focus, which is more efficient than 8 hours of fragmented study. On the day of the test, he sits down and reads the questions. His brain works. He is able to think, reason, solve problems. He hadn't become a genius, but his brain was no longer deregulated by artificial dopamine. 2 months later, the results come out. Jaden is accepted, software engineering course, at a good university. When he sees his name on the list, he doesn't celebrate loudly. He just takes a deep breath and feels pride, real pride in himself, for the first time in years. That night he goes to the dojo. Machida is there. I got into university, Sensei. Machida smiles, not surprised, satisfied. Of course it passed. You've become someone capable of passing. I could never have done it without the system you taught me. The system didn't approve you. You did all the work. The system only showed you the way. You walked it. Chapter 12. 1 year later. A year passes. Jaden is in university now, first semester. He's loving it. Programming, projects, like-minded people. He continues training at the dojo twice a week. He continues doing push-ups in the morning. He continues taking cold showers when he needs to. He's not cured. He still feels the urges, especially in moments of stress, loneliness, and boredom. But now he knows how to handle them. He has the tools. He has a strategy. And most importantly, he has an identity. He is no longer an addict trying to quit. He is someone who directs energy toward building his own life. Emma and he start dating. It's unlike anything Jaden imagined when he watched content on adult websites. It's slower, more real, more vulnerable, and infinitely more satisfying. One day, at her house, they are talking about the future, and Emma says, "You know what I admire most about you? You're so present, so focused. Most guys our age are always distracted, always on their phones. Not you. You're here." Jaden smiles. She doesn't know the battle he fought to be present, but he is grateful. In the dojo, Machida is teaching a new class, and Jaden sees a boy of about 17 years old, standing in the doorway with that look, lost, ashamed, desperate. Jaden recognizes that look, because it used to be his. After class, he approaches. "First time here?" The boy nods. "Why do you want to learn karate?" I need discipline. I'm lost. I can't do what I need to do." Jaden looks at Sensei Machida, who is watching from afar. The sensei nods. A silent permission. "Come, let's have some tea. There's something I need to tell you." A neuroscientist from the University of Cambridge who studies behavioral addictions explains, "Pornography activates the brain's reward system in a supranormal way. It releases levels of dopamine that no natural evolutionary experience would produce. Over time, the brain becomes desensitized, needing increasingly intense stimuli. This causes what we call hypofrontality, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for self-control and decision-making, functions less efficiently. This is why pornography addicts report difficulty concentrating, low motivation, and an inability to feel pleasure in normal activities." A Stanford researcher studying habit formation discovered the brain doesn't distinguish between good and bad addictions in neurological terms. The same neural pathways that consolidate pornography addiction can consolidate constructive habits like exercise or studying. The key is intelligent substitution, not pure elimination. When you remove a habit without replacing it, you create a neurological void that the brain will desperately try to fill, usually with another addiction. An expert in traditional Japanese martial arts explains, "Samurai didn't see vices as moral failings, but as internal enemies that needed to be overcome strategically. They practiced misogi, purification through extreme physical discomfort, to burn away impulses. They practiced shugyo, austere training, to strengthen their will. And they followed Bushido, the warrior's code, which emphasized identity over motivation. A samurai didn't try to be disciplined. He was disciplined. That's identity transformation." But here's the part nobody tells you about overcoming addiction. Jaden didn't stop at conquering pornography because the system he learned wasn't just about that addiction. It was about building any life you want. In his second year of university, he applied Kaizen to his career. Small daily improvements. He landed an internship at a promising startup because he had energy, focus, presence. He applied Ikigai to relationships. He discovered that his purpose with Emma wasn't just to have a girlfriend, it was to build a partnership where they could both grow together. He applied Gambaru when studying got tough, when his code didn't work, when projects failed. He endured, persevered, and kept going. And you know what's even crazier? His younger brother, 15 years old, seeing Jaden's transformation, asked, "How did you change so much?" Jaden didn't give a lecture. He just said, "Come train karate with me on Saturday. Just come and see." His brother went, and his journey began as well. Because transformation isn't contagious, it's permissive. When you change, you give permission to everyone around you to change too. Sensei Machida was 79 years old when he met Jaden. He continues to teach, because he knows that each person he helps can help 10 others, who can help another 100. And every time he sees a student overcome an addiction, conquer a weakness, transform their life, he remembers the day his father was beaten because of him, and he knows that horrible day had a purpose, because it broke him in a way that needed to be broken so he could be reborn different. And now, decades later, he uses that pain to save others. So let me ask you something. You've made it this far. You've watched so many minutes of Jaden's journey. That means you're looking for something, that you recognize this struggle. Perhaps you are exactly like Jaden was, with dreams, goals, potential, but trapped in a cycle that steals your energy, fragments your focus, and prevents you from being who you know you can be. You might be thinking, this won't work for me, my situation is different. You're right, your situation is unique, but the system is universal, because the problem is never a lack of information. You already know that this addiction is harming you. You already know you're wasting energy. You already know you need to stop. The problem is, you're trying to win a war that's lasted for years in a 21-day battle. You're trying to use brute willpower against a vicious neurological circuit. You're trying to just stop without replacing it with anything. And every time you try and fail, you reinforce the identity. I am weak, I lack discipline, I will never succeed. But you're not weak. You're just using the wrong system. The system you learned about today works because Ikigai gives you a clear purpose. It's not about stopping the addiction. It's about building the life your addiction is preventing you from living. It's about getting into university. It's about having a real relationship. It's about getting your energy and focus back. Kaizen removed the pressure of perfection. 1% improvement per day. Start with 10 push-ups in the morning. Too small to fail. Big enough to prove something to yourself. Misogi. It gives you the immediate tool. When the urge comes, and it will, you don't fight it with willpower. You use physical discomfort. A 3-minute cold shower. 50 push-ups. A 2-minute plank. The brain can't focus on sexual pleasure and physical pain simultaneously. Jogyo, redirect your energy. You don't eliminate pornography and end up with emptiness. You replace it with physical training, studying, creating, movement. The energy that used to go towards addiction now goes towards building who you want to be. Nanakarobi Yoki, accept imperfection. You will relapse. And when you relapse, you don't give up. You analyze what was the trigger, purify, immediate cold shower, and return. Continue the system now, not on Monday. This isn't motivational theory, it's war strategy. And it works. The question is, a year from now, will you be in the same place? Still hating yourself every time you look in the mirror? Still lacking the energy to pursue your dreams? Still consuming pixels while real life passes you by? Or will you be looking in the mirror and seeing someone who has fulfilled every promise they made to themselves? Someone who got into university, who has real relationships, who has energy, focus, presence, who is worthy of self-respect? The choice is yours. But I'm going to give you the same challenge that Sensei Machida gave to Jaden. Choose one change, 10 push-ups every morning before picking up your phone, or 20 squats, or 1 minute of plank. Don't try to do more. Don't try to quit the addiction yet. Just prove to yourself that you can keep a promise for 14 days, because transformation doesn't happen in motivational bursts. It happens in small daily victories that accumulate until you become a completely different person. So let's quickly recap. Today you learned about why pornography disrupts your brain and steals your energy. Why just stopping doesn't work. You need to replace, not eliminate. The 5 pillars of the system: Ikigai, Kaizen, Misogi, Shugyo, Nanakarobi Yaoki. Jaden's journey, from failures to complete transformation. Why identity always triumphs over willpower. And most importantly, you learned that you are not weak. You are just using the wrong system. If this video helped you in any way, if you see your story in Jaden's story, I invite you to do 3 things. First, comment below what is the smallest change you will make starting tomorrow morning. 10 push-ups in the morning. Cold shower when I feel the urge. 5 pages of a book a day. Second, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because every week I bring new videos like this one to the channel. Third, share this video with someone you know who is struggling. You don't need to say, "Hey, I saw this video and it reminded me of you." Just send, "I found this content interesting." Let them decide. Because maybe that person is like Jaden was, lost, ashamed, thinking they'll never make it. And maybe this video will be the turning point, like Sensei Machida's video was for Jaden. If you've watched this far up to this specific point, thank you so much for your attention, your time, and your trust. It means a lot to me. And it means you're committed to your transformation, that you're not just looking for quick motivation, you're looking for real change, and the real change begins now. If you enjoyed this video, I invite you to watch one of the ones that's appearing on your screen right now. You're sure to learn something valuable from both. See you in the next video. And remember the samurai code that Jaden learned. Be present, walk with honor, to follow the path, not one step at a time forever.